All right. Hello and welcome to On the Team Bus, where we bring you the stories and adventures of the riders and friends of Team ODZ. Each episode we will hear from a team member or friend and get to know them a little bit better. But today we have a special treat. We've got two friends on board and I'll let them introduce ourselves. I'll go first over to Megan. Hello, good morning, Megan.
Hi, good morning.
And we've got Stephanie over there, right next to her on the other side.
Hi, good morning.
Excellent. So these ladies definitely have a really interesting story. If you follow Odivas on our team at all, you have definitely heard these names from us as far as commentary, as far as, racing here on Zwift and that sort of thing. And we're going to delve a little bit into their stories and kind of individually and how their lives have crossed kind of in this weird virtual space and how they have become friends. So I'll start over here on the end here with Stephanie. We were talking a little bit before the show about where each of you guys are from and maybe just a little bit about what you do, just kind of away from the bike. We'll start from the outside and we'll work our way in.
Well, I'm originally from El Cajon, California, and I've lived in Minneapolis, Minnesota for since 1994, so quite a long time.
Yeah.
Getting used to it here. When I'm not on the bike, I am a librarian at a local university law school, and I'm also an avid reader and gardener, and I have a husband and 2 cats and a flock of 4 chickens.
Wow. That's awesome. So fresh eggs. What was the other oh no, those are dogs. Those are not making any food. So just the chickens. Just the chickens then. Very cool. And then how about you, Megan?
I'm originally from North Dakota and moved to Minneapolis area in Minnesota here 2004. So we've been here for a while. I'm married and have 2 kids. They're 6 and 10. And I work as a nurse practitioner with a large hospice agency here in the metro area. So that keeps me busy when I'm not on the bike.
Absolutely. All right, so, a couple questions, we go straight into kind of our indoor cycling. We can talk about each of your stories and what brought you to indoor cycling separately, and then we talk about what brought you guys indoor cycling together. So maybe we'll start with Stephanie here.
Well, I started off biking, a number of years ago, mostly as a commuter to work, bike commuter. I had a city bike that I would bundle up on and ride 3 miles to work, and that was like a lot of hard work. At first.
Yeah.
And I even would commute in the wintertime.
Wow. Impressive.
In the snow. And then I changed jobs and it was too far away, but I liked cycling. And I was like, I spent so much time trying to get fit enough to be comfortable riding to work when 3 miles now seems like I bother to get on a bike if it's only 3 miles.
Love it. Coach Taya just tuned into the live stream, and I know she's smiling from ear to ear hearing you say that.
But after I did a couple local fun rides and stuff, and after that, I was like, well, maybe I need a road bike because riding 30 miles on a city bike is kind of tough. So I got a road bike and decided I was 47, and my goal was to ride 100 miles before I turned 50.
Nice.
And by the end of the summer, just riding around, I was up to 70 miles, and then Zwift came along. And I got a trainer and because I was determined not to lose all that hard work I'd done over the summer. And actually on New Year's Eve, I rode 100 miles on Zwift.
Wow. I guess that answers another question, but we'll circle back about how long you've spent on a trainer. That's pretty nuts.
You don't want to know.
Oh, wow. It's even longer than that. Oh my. All right, and then how about you, Megan? What brought you to indoor training and indoor cycling?
Well, I grew up with sports, so I was active. I've been active most of my young life and then my adult life, but it kind of got to the point where it was just the regular old go to the gym, lifting weights, and running on the treadmill, and it got kind of boring. And my husband and 3 of his brothers discovered Zwift.
Nice.
And they like to ride together. So they they talked him into getting the whole setup. He got his setup, and about a week into it, he looked at me and he said, I think you'd really like this. So he took me to the store, the bike shop.
Oh, wow.
Bought me my first road bike, and I thought, I'm not going to ask any questions.
Very cool.
Yeah, so it was, and I started trying it, and I kind of got into Zwift, and it was very interesting, and knew nothing about cycling. So they didn't either, and they were trying to coach me on how to get started in this. So
nice. Okay.
It was a watt was a watt. So they say, we try and ride at this watt the whole time for about an hour.
Yeah.
But the watts per kilogram theory was lost on any of us. So I got thrown into the deep end of the pool there from the start, because they were starting at about 2.2 watts per kilo, and then that translated to about 3 watts per kilo.
Yeah.
So I thought, this is really hard. I better start getting into this. So then it was just a lot of riding on my own, and didn't really discover it. And then I found the Odivas race, and then the rest is history.
Right. And that's sort of essentially what brought you two together, and that's how you had met. I guess before we talk about that, how did you guys each find, I guess you, Megan, mentioned that you found Odivas or ODZ and Odivas through the race, right? You were looking for something? Yes. Oh, so both of you, I see you nodding your head. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. And then so you just came and got a chance to race against other female racers instead of jumping into like a 95% male ride every single time you jumped on. Yeah.
Right. And it was my first ever group event, the first ever thing I ever joined. So I didn't really know at all what I was getting into, but the ladies in it were so fantastic and so supportive. No matter what level you're at, you just jump in, you have a great time. So I was hooked. Yeah.
That's definitely great to hear. Go ahead.
I was say I had done some races beforehand where it was all guys, and I would be the only girl, and I'd get dropped and trialing all by myself. So then when the Odivas came up, it was like, oh, well, look, I'm not getting dropped. This is kind of fun.
Yeah, no, I totally, that feeling. Absolutely. No, I think, I early on, we were really trying to make a big push for it, for female, ladies races only. Chris Haskell was a part of that big thing. And what we wanted to make it was kind of very immersive, kind of bring all the pieces together to allow you guys to just have the same feeling that you would, or just have a space that was your own. And it sounds like, even now, it's flourishing. The race series is still there. There's other ones coming around, but that's awesome. That's great to hear. It's fun to hear the stories of how everybody kind of comes to find each other. And so you guys have a very unique story. In fact, that you are both now in Minnesota, in the snow, probably under 12 feet of some odd snow. Before you got on, Megan, I was teasing that I hear there's only about a couple days that you can kind of count on your fingers that are like sunny and like, let's go do something. But but then oppositely, I have friends that live there that are like, oh yeah, it's like 50 degrees. Let's go t-shirts and shorts from you guys. And you don't hear that. There's a bunch of Californians in Vegas, and it was 40, and people were dressing up like it was the apocalypse, like build.
I know. I have family in California.
Yeah.
Yes, that's definitely how it works.
You're like, what are you doing?
My parents are still in California, and when I go visit them, I'll usually go in like April or March or April when it's still cooler, and they'll be cold. It'll be 65 degrees, and they'll put a fire in the fireplace. Like, oh my gosh, you guys are trying to kill me.
When else are you going to use the fireplace, you guys? I don't understand. So I guess we've been talking about a little bit kind of how we found the bikes. I wanted to bring up a couple images here, and I'll bring it up on the side. Unfortunately, the ladies won't be able to see it on their end, but we can talk a little bit about your pain cave setups. So the first one I'm looking at is I've got a treadmill, 2 bikes, fans, all kinds of stuff. So whose room is that?
Mine.
Okay, and let me bring that over. So so this is the room that we're looking at. So looks like we've got some running going on, a nice screen hooked up to a Wahoo table, and a kicker with the kicker climb. Man, like that's no expense shared over there. That's fun. So did you begin with this
that's
setup? I guess is the question. Like, this is how it started. Like yeah.
We started with a kicker snap,
Nice.
and we still have the snap. And we had just a single setup, and my husband and I would just swap our bikes off of it, take turns. And then I got booted out of my little spot to make room for a pool table.
Oh.
As my husband's request. So I got kind of into the back room that we never really used. It was kind of just an all-purpose, made for nothing room. So I had some fun a couple weeks ago, and I thought, well, we'll make this a pain cave. And then I thought it'd be fun to ride together.
Yeah.
So I got another setup. And so now we have side-by-side setups.
That's nice. I like that. So you guys actually do workouts and rides and races together then? Or do you guys?
Well, I'm trying to work on it. He needs to get another machine to run Zwift out
Yeah.
yet, which is probably this one that I'm using right now for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Haven't quite implemented yet, but he likes races, doesn't do rides,
Gotcha.
nothing.
So
I'm working on it, but it's an uphill battle.
that's fun. Yeah, it was so it was like you started almost kind of at different spots, and you're like just way up here now. I feel like at your place. That's really nice. And then as far as pain caves go, let me see if I could scroll over to Stephanie's here at the end. Here we are. This is the true definition of a pain cave here. Tell us, you got, now I get all the books in the background. I get it. You're being a librarian. You've got all kinds of literature everywhere.
Yeah, I have a corner of the living room because we have a small house. So I'm off to the side in the living room, and the bookshelves are multi-purpose for
I see that. It's got weights.
They hold my weights, and they hold my water bottles and my snacks. And then I have a little table in front for my laptop.
I like it. I see it. I've got the water bottles on the top. I see that. And then the gloves. I see that.
Yep.
And then the weights. So do you go like, is it like per shelf per hour? It'd be like first 45 minutes, this is the food I eat. And then this is the second one.
Yeah. There's a little bowl that I have on one of the shelves, and then my husband lines the water bottles up along the one shelf, and he'll come in and he'll check the water bottles, and he'll be like, all right, take the empty ones and refill them and add them back to
How nice is that? How nice is that? That's what you need, Megan. Water service. That's what you need to set up at the house. There you go.
Great team support.
No, that is fun. That is fun. And then, okay, and you got your little stand with the laptop. I like it. So not only do you ladies spend time indoors Zwifting and riding together, but in fact, you guys actually ride outdoors together as well. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So let me pull up this image. This is an image of I think the first time you guys had met and had met and done a ride together, right? This is no Divas kits yet, but definitely fun. And so tell me a little bit about the first meeting, kind of how it came about, and like, hey, do you want to like hang out? Like, what was it like? You know?
Well, as I started going to the Divas races, there was always this gal named Stefanie in the race. Always, every time she was there, and we started following each other on Strava, and then Stefanie did a local ride here, and on her Strava feed, when it showed up, there was a local lake that showed on the map, and I thought, hey, that's actually right here. Mm-hmm. So I messaged her and we started talking, and I think that was probably the longest back and forth Strava feed of all time between us initially. And then we said, we need to meet up at some point and do a ride. So we met in a central location here in the metro and rode trails, and it was great.
That's super fun.
And I got 2 flats.
Oh, geez. I think I remember the story. I do remember seeing this story online.
And we learned that we don't know how to use CO2 cartridges.
We'll have to we'll throw Taya, Coach Taya, under the bus. There was a time where she couldn't change a flat either, so that's okay. So we all come to a point where we all can do that without any extra help and can figure it all out. So that's cool. That's cool. And so the next photo I have up, I'll transition over to it. Is looks, if I remember right, this is the first time you guys did a crit race together, which is something totally new, right? Yeah. So tell me about how, let's do something crazy. Where did it all come from?
That's all Stefanie. Stefanie.
Oh, don't go blame me on that one. That was this last spring. We had joined the Kraken Club, and we got USA cycling licenses, and we were going to ride in real life for Team ODZ. And there was a crit series out at the state fairgrounds in the spring, and they had a local team here, a women's team, who was doing clinics to teach new riders how to race. And they had a clinic every week on a different topic. So we went and we're like, okay, let's give it a go.
Yeah. Wow. So neither of you had done any competitive cycling in that respect. It sounds like we had just done riding, other no buttons, big nose all across. And then, so what about the rest of the field? Were there a lot of newcomers as well, or did you feel like there were more veterans in the group? How did you feel? What was the rest of the field like?
It was half and half. I think there were some really strong Cat 5 ladies who'd actually been racing before that you knew, they were the ones that finished first.
Yeah.
And then there were a lot of middle-aged ladies, and
wow, they're so nice, middle-aged ladies.
Well, I'm amongst the middle-aged ladies.
I like that.
So it was nice not to feel like everybody racing was 20 years old.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, it was a good mix. There were brand new folks, and there were some people that had raced before, and everybody was really supportive and kind with each other and cheering each other on, and it was a lot of fun.
How did you feel that the group did with actually you walking away with information or learning something? Did you guys both feel like you walked away with new knowledge of? Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Good.
We practiced cornering and sprinting, and actually they had one clinic on how to fall.
I missed that one. I don't need any help there.
Aww.
Megan missed that one, but I actually had some fun at the clinic. On the falling clinic, actually fell when I wasn't supposed to. And they're like, "Hey, you did that really well." And I'm like, "Thank you."
That's really funny. Really funny. Oh man. So that was early. Coach Ian says that's very different than his beginner crit race that he's experienced, with everybody laughing and holding hands and falling together. Very nice. So not only you guys have this experience together, I know you guys have done some gravel races together as well. I think I've got some photos of two. We could talk about the first one, and there's a lot of kissing rock photos, so we'll talk a little bit about that. So we've got the two of you here coming over a crest. Looks like a nice set of gravel, both of you guys riding. Weather looks pretty good, but pretty cold from the images here, at least from what I can tell. So tell me about this race and this ride.
It was gorgeous. That was our last event of this last season. Was it? I forget what it was called now, Steph.
The Hero ride.
Gravel? Yeah. And weather was perfect. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was. How long was it? Like 60 miles, 62. I think it was a metric century out. Out in Stillwater, which is by the St. Croix River in Minnesota, but just across the river is Wisconsin. So we were out on the edge.
Very nice. Very nice
area. Yeah.
Very nice. I mean, the terrain looks great. Colored trees. That's new for me. Just not all painted green. So that's all very nice. And then, so not only that, you guys have done a couple other rides together. I've got one where you guys are soaking wet. So maybe you could tell me a little bit about that one. I'll bring that photo over now. Yeah, I mean, smiles all around, of course.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah,
course,
that's all
yeah.
you. That's your
That
Dirty
was,
Benji.
that was the Dirty Benjamin. It's a 100-mile
Oh,
gravel race
oh,
ride, and I have tried it. This was the third time I've tried it and didn't finish for the third year in a row.
oh,
The first year I was on a road bike with 28 tires,
oh, wow.
with 28-inch tires on
Yeah,
it,
uh-huh.
and had to quit around 90 miles from heat exhaustion
Oh,
because it was
jeez.
like 98 degrees and 90% humidity, and I ran out of water and was starting to be like, I don't know where I am
Loopy.
anymore.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And then the second year I went, and it was a nice day except for the wind, and the wind was blowing across the open farm fields at about 40 miles an hour.
Oh, oh my gosh.
And I had fallen over about 4 or 5 times.
Wow. Well, that practice really, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like called my husband after about 5 hours and still only making it about 45 miles. I'm
Oh.
like, I'm done. I have to come get me. So this year I'm like, Megan, you're gonna help me finish this race.
So with this, the premise would be Megan would start at about mile 50 would be what
Right,
right? So then you
yeah.
can get
No,
no?
the whole
Okay.
thing.
They got the whole thing. Okay. So then it sounds like we finished this year then.
Oh no, we
Oh.
didn't.
No.
No, at about mile 10, we got 10 mile. Well, we rode 50 miles. The
Uh-huh.
first 10 we had good weather, and
Okay.
then the rest of it we there was a ring of thunderstorms, pretty severe thunderstorms
Uh-huh.
that we kept riding in a circle, and the thunderstorm kept going in a circle, so we kept going in and out of this thunderstorm. And at certain points we had to hide for cover in trees.
What?
And yeah, it got really bad. And the rain was so hard we couldn't see. So we would just stop by a farm. We'd duck in the trees and sit there and freeze for a while. And when we came out the first time we did that, it had messed up our Garmin navigations, both of ours.
Jeez.
So we kept going as soon as we got as much of a break as we could. But our Garmin's got us off track. So we ended up taking a 10-mile detour out of the way. So we went 50 miles, and then the rain wouldn't let up, and it was cloud to ground lightning all around us. And so we sheltered under that barn for a good while and froze half to death. And we were calling the rescue wagon. I was smiling because the rescue wagon was
on his
coming.
way. And you're like, why do we go outside? Why do we go outside? You could have just came over and rode in my house. It would have been fine.
I know.
After that, though, I thought, oh gosh, Megan's never going to ride with me again.
Aw.
But
Oh,
she did.
that's fun.
I don't
That's
know if
fun.
Those are the ones that are the most fun. They're the most memorable. Even
Yeah.
if you don't finish, you had the most. You had a great time.
Yeah, I think that's important too, finding that companionship. So before this, like Stephanie, you've been riding for some time. Did you do group rides or anything like that, like outside of your commuting, or is this kind of like your first adventure of like having friends that you rode with and that sort of thing?
Megan is my first friend adventure rider.
Ah, yay!
Before that, I've ridden all by myself. I've tried some shop rides from the shops around here, and it was fun. But they didn't always go riding at the time when I was available to go riding. So, and I like to go for really long rides outdoors. So, I just mostly like Saturdays I would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get out of the house by 6 or 6:30, and spend all day riding my bike around.
Wow.
So yeah.
So I'll encourage you to listen to the last Coach's Corner where we talk about lengthy base rides maybe not being so good for us in the long run, but it sounds more therapeutic than anything.
Yeah, it is very therapeutic.
Yeah,
and then so then I did I started gravel riding before I met Megan, and then dragged her into it, and then I did a 200-mile race 2 summers ago.
Wow.
And then this last summer I did a 24-hour race, and
very nice. So I guess that can lead us to our next thing, which is how many bikes and like what have you guys got in your stable of bikes? Obviously I hear a gravel bike, a road bike. I picture your city bike being like a fixie, no brakes, no.
No. It's a big, heavy, upright bike with a rack on the back and two
Very cool.
panniers. It's very sexy.
Very cool. And so gravel bike, road bike, and then a town bike. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. How about you, Megan? What have you got in the stable?
I've only got two. I got the road bike, which is a Specialized Ruby, and
Yeah.
then I have. Then Stephanie said the next season we need to do some gravel. So I turned to my husband. I said, "I got to get a gravel bike now." And he said,
Wow.
"Okay." So now I
very
have
cool.
a Specialized Diverge for the gravel ride.
Nice.
So.
Wow. So you just that's it. So for all the ladies there that ride, you just turn your husband, like, do you see how Megan, she turns and just says, "This is what I need. This is the bike I need." And then it shows up. So just,
I don't know how long that's going to last though. So I
just
take it when I can get it.
just keep letting him win on Zwift. I think that'll be okay, right? Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I think very fun, very fun. And then, so I guess, there's a lot of talk of the things that we enjoy to do on the bike. Obviously, you guys have your day jobs. What do you guys enjoy to do, like, kind of off the bike, like with your families or that sort of thing? I start with Megan.
Well, between work and, if I'm off the bike, spending time with my kids takes up a lot of it. And so between that, running the kids around, my training and working, if I do get any spare time that's not occupied, I'm usually found taking a nap.
Yeah. So we'll circle back, but think about it now. Like, so we talk about training versus just riding. So as we train for things, like I'd like to know kind of what you guys are your goals are training for this next coming season. But we'll circle back to that. So Stephanie, off the bike, what are your fun and passion?
Well, obviously I read a lot.
Yeah, it's so funny. It just clicked. You have a card catalog behind you.
Catalog. Every self-respecting librarian has a card catalog at their house.
And there's actual. So what do you? Now we're gonna diverge. What are you categorizing in these? Like, pull one of those out. Come on, turn around. Pull one out.
In this one is
knitting
needles.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I knit. In one of them is bike parts.
Oh. I love it. Oh man, this is awesome. But so do you use the Dewey Decimal System in order to categorize where things go, or how does that work?
It's all Library of Congress these days.
Oh, there you go. Oh man. Okay, so you like to read a lot, obviously. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to read. I garden too. My whole backyard
That's right.
is a garden.
Oh, nice.
and the chickens. My husband isn't a cyclist, but he wants to keep up with me on a bike. So we're going to get him an e-bike this spring. Yeah. So he's all excited about that. He's like, I can go riding with you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yep.
That'd be fun. Yeah, that's cool. Becoming more and more common, and I've even heard news of having e-bikes for athletes of all ranges to be able to keep groups together and that sort of thing, climbing. So that's definitely becoming more mainstream as far as a training tool. So that very, very interesting. So I guess circling back, what are you guys training for? We're looking at early 2019. Are you guys training for an event? Are you guys trying to general fitness? What are you guys looking at for this year?
My training usually is just solely to keep up with Stephanie. She's going to drag me into.
So it's
usually a couple 100-mile rides in there.
Yeah. Okay.
I never know. So I have to kind of just have all-purpose training. So I'm pretty much ready for whatever she's going to drag me through.
We'll call Megan's plans will be ready for Steph. That's like level 1, 2. I like that. Ready for Steph. Yeah. We could probably put that. It'll be one of the drop downs in the endurance lab next year. It'll be if you want to be the best at everything or just be ready for Steph. That'll be your drop down, and you can be ready for
anything.
Yes. I like it.
Okay, so if that's the case, then Megan, this year we're going to. No, I think I'm gonna do the 24-hour race again this year in August,
Nice.
and I have some plans for gravel rides. Hopefully, Megan will come along with that. I'm gonna do a new gravel ride. It's not a new ride, but it's a new ride for me. The Almanzo. Is a gravel ride in Minnesota. It used to take place in Springfield, Minnesota, which is a fair haul south from the metro area, but they got moved up to Northfield, which is just south of the metro this year, and we know someone who's on the route planning committee.
Nice.
Who promises to make a really good hard route. It's a notoriously hard race, so it's the Almanzo is Laura Ingalls Wilder's husband, so it's a Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
So it's a 100-mile race, and then they have a 160-mile route too, I think, and a 360. I'm not doing the 360. Just sticking with the 100 mile.
There you go.
And I'm going to try that Dirty Benjamin again this year, too. It's going to probably blizzard or have a plague of locusts.
Gosh, that's tough, man. That's rough. The hiding in barns. That's what I'm remembering here. Very cool. All right, so Coach Tay is still on. So remember, so the intervals will now be on the bike, tempo, VO2, hide under the barn. Keep yourself dry, change clothes, back on the bike, endurance, tempo. Okay, so we got it. We'll put that into the mix there. All right. Favorite indulgence post-workout or after a hard ride? We're going to do some rapid-fire questions here. So what is it? Your favorite thing to have right off the bike that you don't usually have, but you like to have right after the workout?
Chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk. I love it. So you just grab a sippy cup and just
just chug it on.
I like it. And Megan,
for me, it's pretty much anything with eggs. I go through a lot of eggs in my house, which is why Stephanie probably won't let me babysit her chickens anytime soon. But anything with eggs. I have all kinds of things I do with them, and that's usually always in there.
That's fun. That's totally fun. All right. So coming around towards the end, I do want to be thankful for your time, but most memorable virtual team moment for each of you. We can start with Megan there.
Mine was probably in March this last year with the Fearless Team Spring Classic. Yeah. Big team race. It was a long race. Mm-hmm. Charisse and Tiffany had that amazing ending, and I'm nothing, I don't have anything fancy like that. But at the end of that whole thing, there was Tiffany, and then Charisse got 1 and 2, and then 2 other team riders took 3rd and 4th, and I don't know how I was able to pull it off, but I was able to come across in 5th, just to tie up the team podium. So I was proud of that.
Oh, very fun. So virtual wins definitely for the win. And how about you, Steph?
Oh gosh, I don't know. There's been so much fun Zwifting, and I don't know. I guess the first Divas race season is nothing specifically, but just that whole first season when I met Megan, it was just so much fun, and it really cemented my love of Zwift, and we joined Team ODZ after that, and we just I loved listening to your announcing the race, and Megan and we would laugh because you would always call us Michelle and Sarah.
I remember now the first season. How far off is that?
We just loved it.
It was so consistent. That was what made it even better. It was consistent, and it went on for a long time. I think almost a year, didn't it?
It was.
It was great. We loved it. We always laughed at it, and I don't think Megan mentioned that she named her gravel bike Michelle.
Aw, how fun! I'll give before we go. I'll give you a little bit of feedback. So Chris Haskell definitely had a big hand in kind of the commentary I do, and we were fortunate to have him come on a lot of those. He's got a really busy schedule with what he does. And, one of the things we always like to do is make it more personal, the names and that sort of thing. when I told him about it, he's like, you know what? Sometimes it's just okay because it becomes this thing and like it has with you ladies. And but to the viewer, it just feels like, wow, like they really know those people, and the names are real people that so we just kept going with it, but for whatever reason it stuck. But thank goodness I got it right every time. Or wrong every time, I guess it would be.
Well, it had to be hard because you just have the first name initial
right
on the rider
it
list.
is it is And I'm trying to go through Zwift Power, and we've got I've got 5 screens, 6 screens going on.
Yeah.
All right.
That was great. It was fun. It was so much fun.
That's so funny. All right, excellent. So yeah, what a great story that you both have. I want to thank you guys for your time today. I know everyone's busy and to make this happen, but I'm glad we were able to get you guys on the bus today and just hear kind of friends getting together. And it wasn't weird. It wasn't weird. I remember. So again, thanks for that. And we're gonna sign off here with Stephanie. What looks like her outdoor pack going to like what I would feel like Kilimanjaro, but I think she's just going to the store to get some stuff on her bike. So with that, thank you for everyone for joining us here on the team bus. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Stephanie, for your time. And we will see everybody on the next episode of On the Team Bus with Team ODZ. All right. All right, we are audio clear.